3 still. So today we're going to be looking at expanding a quadratic relation. This is a quadratic relation in what form?
Standard.
This equation is written in factored form. Okay, so it's in the form y equals a x minus r bracket x minus s. Okay. We are going to be expanding it using a method. I'm going to show you a couple of methods. When we expand it, it's going to end up being in standard form, okay? So we're going from factored form to standard form. So I'm going to show you two methods. The first one is called Foyle. What does F stand for in the word Foyle? It's up there. First. So what that means is we're going to multiply the first terms together. So we have two brackets. We have x plus 4 and x plus 2. What's the first term in the first bracket? Which term? Yep. Yes, this is a term, right? A term is separated by plus or minus. And what's the first term in the second bracket? Okay, so we're going to multiply, and I'll use arrows as well, it helps. X times x. What's x times x? X squared. Good. Okay. O stands for outside terms. We're going to be multiplying the terms that are on the outside. So which term is on the outside of the first bracket? X, that's the outside term, and 2 is the outside term. So I'm multiplying x times 2. So we're actually, you've done this in grade 9. You're distributing, basically we're distributing the first term. We're multiplying it by each term inside the second bracket, right? We multiplied x times x, and now we're multiplying x times 2. And it's a positive 2. I should underline the sign. What's positive 2 times x? Positive 2x. Good.
I got you, miss.
Okay. Now we're going to multiply the inside terms, which is this is on the inside and this is on the inside. So we're taking the second term, multiplying it by x. So what's 4 times x? Positive 4x. And then the last terms, well, we're distributing the next term, multiplying it by the last term. Positive 4 times positive 2, positive 8. So now we have to combine our like terms. What's a like term? Anything that has what? Same variable and same exponent. Are there any other terms that have an x squared?
No.
So that stays as is. Can I add 2x plus 4x?
6x.
Good. Can I add 8 to anything? That's it. That's our answer.
Really?
Yep. So now that we've expanded, this is now in standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We've put it now into standard form, okay? We know we're finished because all of our terms are unlike terms. I can't add an 8 to an x, and I can't add an x squared to an x. They're all unlike terms. And we can use a chart. So we're multiplying x plus 4. So I'm going to write that here, x and positive 4. And I'm multiplying it by x plus 2. Okay, you include the sign with the term.
Miss, why can't you put it?
Okay, all we have to do now is fill in the blanks. So to fill this in would be x times x, which is x squared. Here would be positive 4 times x is positive 4x. What would be in this square?
Positive 2x.
Positive 2x, good. And what would be in the last square?
8.
Positive 8, because it's 4 times. We're multiplying.
Shit. Miss, I'm sorry. I wanna have...
Then all you have to do is look at your square in here, okay, and see if there's any like terms.
Yeah.
These two terms are alike, so I can add those together, which means I'm left with x squared, 2x plus 4x is 6x, 8. We got the exact same answer. Okay, in the next example, again, we're basically distributing. We're taking the first term. We need to multiply it by everything inside the second bracket. So what's 2x times x? 2x squared. And then we need to multiply 2x times what? Negative 2. Thank you. Negative 4x. Okay, so we're done with the first term. We distributed that over everything in the second bracket. Now we need to take, yep. Now we need to take the second term and distribute it. What's 3 times x?
3x.
Then what? 3 times -2 is -6. We're done. Now we just simplify. Combine your like terms. How many x squared terms do I have? What's -4x plus 3x?
-1.
-1x.
So
You can just put -x. So we have y equals 2x squared minus x minus 6. This is now in standard form. Try this one using the chart. We're multiplying 2x plus 3 times x minus 2, right?
Yeah.
So 2x times x,
2x
2x squared,
Then positive.
x times 3, yeah, positive 3x.
And then
-2 times positive 2x would be -4x. And then -2 times positive 3 is -6. You're multiplying, not adding. Okay? Look for your like terms. Those are alike. Yeah, they will. Then just write your answer. Write all your terms. I have a
miss.
2x squared term. Hold on. I have -4x plus 3x is -1x minus 6. And that's the same thing we got before. Final answer. What are the first 2 terms I need to multiply together? Yep. What is that?
2x squared.
Okay, next term, Pravina,
You can't be trusted.
times -3. Okay, then what's the next thing we need to multiply?
Inside.
Is what?
-1x.
Good, and then the last term's Vithusian.
Plus 3.
Vithusian, -1 times -3 is positive
recording?
3. Bye.
2x squared minus 7x plus 3.
First terms, Prakash.
2x.
X times, nope, x times x. X squared. X times 5 is positive 5x, then,
Miss the negative and negative is a positive.
yep, -5 times x,
Minus 5x.
and -5 times positive 5, -25. What did you notice here when you simplify?
Cancel each other out.
We have an x squared. What's 5x take away 5x?
0.
0x. 0 times anything is,
0.
so do I need to write 0?
No.
That's the answer.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.